Jeremy Snook from Microsoft Game Studios, who will tell you about that. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can you hear me in the back? We're good. All right. I'll just wait for the conversations to wrap up. Thank you. Well, thank you for coming and joining me this morning. I appreciate the day one early morning. Like I say, at this point, it's late morning, so hopefully you've had a cup of coffee or two. I will try to keep you awake until lunch for the next 15, 20 minutes or so. After that, you can go eat and then go take your nap on somebody else's talk. But if you do happen to fall asleep during mine, I'll try not to take too much offense at it. So a little bit of information about me. My name is Jeremy Snook. I am from Microsoft Studios. I've been inside the video game industry for 12 years now. I started in 2001 at a PC game developer called Gas Powered Games. I was there for about 5 years. I helped launch a couple of PC games. One franchise called Dungeon Siege. It was a action RPG. And then I also helped launch a franchise called Supreme Commander, which was a real-time strategy game. After about 5 years, I decided I'd go try something new. So I went over to a company across the water in Seattle called Real Networks. I worked in their casual games group and helped handle content acquisition, the publishing side of things. The casual games business over there was called Gamehouse. I may have worked with some of you in this room, or my team may have worked with you. I did that for about 5 years, and then decided that I wanted to get back to the games I was most passionate about. So in 2010, Microsoft made me an offer to come on board, and I took it. So inside of Microsoft Studios, I handle business development for first-party publishing. I publish games on all of our platforms, Xbox, Windows Phone, but I am predominantly focused on publishing digital content on Xbox 360. So if you're a console developer or you are interested about console development, that's really my expertise. But today I am here to talk with you about Windows 8, because that is something that is probably a little more near and dear to your hearts. So in the spirit of the previous talk, this is about a platform, this is about technology, this is about how to take your games over to our platform and hopefully make some money along the way. So why Windows 8? Just quick show of hands, how many people in this room are running Windows 8 on their PC at home? A few of you, yeah, I'm one of them. You may love it, you may not love it, but today I'll just talk a little bit about why Microsoft thinks it's a great idea for you to bring your games over to our platform. So where are we at with Windows 8 today? We launched it late last year. We have announced earlier this month that we've reached 100 million sales. So there's quite a few copies of Windows 8 out in the marketplace. When you look at the devices, there are over 2,400 devices of various form factors that are certified to run Windows 8. So a lot of different size screens, different processing powers, but a lot of devices out there. And we announced that after the first 70 days of the market, or the Windows Store being live, we've had over 100 million apps downloaded. We recently announced that the next version of Windows, Windows 8.1, an update, is going to be released later this year. It was codenamed Windows Blue for a while, but it's Windows 8.1. The focus is for Windows 8.1. We're going to deliver new innovations across an even wider variety of devices. We're going to continue to develop new things for our ecosystem, and we're also responding to a lot of consumer feedback that came from Windows 8 and Windows RT users. So when you look at Windows as an operating system, as a potential platform for your game, we have a very large global reach. You can see that we've got the Windows Store available in over 230 countries worldwide. We have apps that have been developed in over 100 languages, so it's quite a diverse marketplace for you. Over 120 different markets, and we also pay out in your local currency, and right now we're paying out in over 80 different currencies. So if you are based here in Singapore, you set up your account, you would get paid in Singapore dollars. If you were in the United States, you would get paid in US dollars. You know, it works out to your local currency. So let's talk a little bit about money. We have a industry best 70% rev share that ratchets up to 80% after you clear the first $25,000 in revenue. This is paid based on gross revenue. So if you are self-publishing into the Windows Store, you do make 100% of that money. So we take out the 30%, the 20%, and the rest comes to you. If you have any, obviously, third-party fees, and that's your responsibility. But all right, so let's talk a little bit about a few developers who have developed for Windows 8. I've got a couple of quotes. I'll throw them up on screen, but I'll also read through them just to try to keep you awake and/or put you asleep, depending on your mood. So, Fruit Ninja, from a developer called Halfbrick. They're based down in Australia. They've also developed a game called Jetpack Joyride. I'm sure everybody here in the room is familiar with Halfbrick. But Richard, their CTO, said that when they first moved to Windows 8, he was a little worried because there were so many form factors, laptops, desktops. Again, going back to that 2400 number, can be very daunting. But using our single API, you develop for all those devices, and it's very, very easy for your game to scale up and scale down. So all the way up to a massive Dell or Origin's super premium gaming laptop, all the way down to a Surface RT running an ARM-based processor. Another developer, Rebellion, they created a free-to-play game called Games for Hire. They said that on the money side, Windows 8 was their leading platform for their free-to-play games. So they had 75% higher ARPU for that game versus their next platform down, the next operating system down, and the same for their downloads, 40% higher on Windows 8. So they were extremely happy with Guns for Hire. And the third developer, Lady Shotgun, they're a small developer, created a game for iOS called Budafinger that they ported over to Windows Phone, and it's coming out to Windows 8 here very shortly. Anna Marsh, their founder, said that the greatest thing for her to realize is that there's life beyond iOS. She said that she had a game that was a critical success, but, quote, haven't had the luck to be featured by Apple, so she didn't necessarily need to write the game off. She brought it over to Windows Phone. She had great success there. And like I said, she's bringing it to Windows 8 very, very soon. So let's talk about a couple of more games. How many people in the room are developing download games? Like download to own, you pay $20, whatever it is. Got a couple of hands out there. So this is a case study. This is a game that's one of the top performers in the Windows Store. It's been anonymized here. But this is a $5 game in the marketplace. And what we found was for a recent month's worth of transactions, their views to trial downloads conversion rate, so people open it up in the Windows Store and they click on the trial button to download it, was 22%. And the views to actual purchase conversion rate was 6% for this download to own game. Let's look at free-to-play. Free-to-play developers in the house? Couple? Yeah, couple. So again, another top-performing game in the marketplace. Views to downloads conversion rate, so they're in the store and they click on download. Obviously, there's not a trial; it's just a free game, right? Over 50%. And when we looked at that same period of time, that same 1 month, they had 20% of their daily active users transacting. So these are promising numbers for a new platform, for a new operating system, a new store. It's, again, very, very early on in our ecosystem, but shows us a very good, what we feel, a very positive growth rate for our marketplace. All right, so we've talked a little bit about Windows 8. How do you get started on Windows 8? As you've heard in the previous talk, obviously, as a platform holder, it behooves us to make these games or these platforms easy for you to bring your games over to. All right? It wouldn't be a good thing for us if we made it incredibly difficult to develop for. So the first thing you want to do when you work for when you want to get started on Windows 8 is you want to go to dev.windows.com. It's our developer website. We recently overhauled it, gave it a new look and feel. A lot of great information here. It's dev.windows.com. In the bottom left corner, when you load it up, it says Get Started right there above the fold. So you click on that button. It walks you right through the process. There's also lots of good information about Windows 8, how to get started, design considerations, and it really walks you through the process. It lets you download free tools. There's a free version of Visual Studio there. It also helps you get set up for your free developer license. So the next thing you want to do is get started creating your game. You can use the languages you already know. You can use JavaScript with HTML. You can use a cross-platform engine like we heard earlier, Unity, a platform that's an engine that also supports Windows 8, Unreal, another platform there as well. And like I said, we've got tools to help you on our website. So after you have started building your game, you also want to create a developer account. So I talked about the developer license at the beginning. The developer license is free. That lets you test and build your app, but to actually sell it in the marketplace, you have to have a developer account. And there's 3 price schemes for you. So if you are a student participating in our DreamSpark program, it's free to you. Likewise, if you are a startup in the BizSpark program, which I'll talk about a little bit later, it's free. And if you're an MSDN subscriber, it's also free. If you are an individual, it's $49 a year. And if you'd like to register a business account, it's $99 a year. Difference between the two is there's a little bit more authentication that goes on for the business. We have to make sure that you are authorized to be submitting your business to the store. There are also some benefits to being a business. You can do, for instance, corporate intranet apps that don't appear to the general public, but if you are creating a meeting room finder application for your corporation, you could push it out to your corporate devices via your business account. So once you've created the game, it has to go through certification. Your game must be certified before it can be published to the Windows Store. And one of the tools that we have on the website is called the Windows Application Certification Kit. What we really like to call it is the WAC. So you run the WAC. And the WAC automates a lot of the testing processes that go on for your game when it's actually in certification. So it'll give you basically a pre-cert pass, let you know what you are likely going to fail on or pass on. So you want to make sure you run that on multiple devices, high end, low end, and get a sense before you submit the game where your failure points are going to be. You want to make sure you read the policies and resolution docs. We're constantly updating this with latest policies. You want to make sure that you're not going to fly in the face of that. We launched just recently at the beginning of the year a new policy change on mature content. If you have mature or PEGI 18 content, there's a way that you can get your games into the store. It wasn't there before. So again, go check out the latest policies before you submit. If you do submit and your app's rejected, we actually will provide you with great feedback about what it was flagged, what the problems were. You'll get lots of information to help you address it quickly and get it back into the certification process. If you have any questions about it, we've got lots of support options via chat, via phone, via forums, by email, to help you resolve that and get your game out into the marketplace. So if you are a download-to-own developer, I would strongly, strongly, strongly recommend that you create a trial version of your game. And the reason that we do that, that we recommend that to developers, is that 90% of downloads for purchase games are trials. So people start with a trial button. If they see buy versus trial, they'll try it. And when we look at the overall revenue for base game sales, not counting microtransactions, add-on type stuff, 50% of that revenue comes from trial conversions. So they are a very powerful thing for your download-to-own games. They're easy though. So if you want to do a straight time-limited trial, it's literally a one drop-down option when you're submitting your game to the Windows Store. You can, of course, program a more complicated trial if you want to have feature limitations, content limitations, if you want to throw up additional features or banners or ads in your free version that gets stripped out when somebody buys the game, that's possible as well. But like I said, a basic time trial, very, very easy to implement in the store. So after you've created your game, you've designed it, you've gone through your certification pass, it's up in the store, you can make money a variety of ways. You can choose from a business model like ad-supported. You can go free to play with microtransactions. You can have download to own, again, remembering that free trial advice. As you plan your games, think about what makes the most sense for your studio, your needs, and obviously make your game embrace that model. If you decide, though, that you go out and launch the game and you did one out as a DTO and you really think that, well, shoot, maybe we should go for free with ads, it's very easy to change the monetization model in the store once your game is live. It's not complicated. And then once the game is launched, we've got a robust dashboard that tells you all sorts of great information about who's buying your game, who's using your game. You can see who's reviewing your game, what kind of reviews you're getting. You can jump back in and provide great customer support to your users via the review system, and make sure that they feel like they are engaged with you as a consumer. And speaking of engaging with your consumers, one of the, I guess I should actually say, the single biggest driver of downloads in the Windows Store is the Spotlight. When you launch the Windows Store on your Windows 8 device, Spotlight's the very first thing that pops up. You can see this is a screenshot from yesterday's store. Spotlight for yesterday was Temple Run Brave. So right there, boom, first thing you see. So how do you get into the Spotlight? Well, it's a bit of a mysterious process, and the way that we actually do it is there are various team members who look at games both before and after certification and find games that they think are good Spotlight candidates. But things that will help you in your favor for Spotlight, you want to make sure you support, first off, obviously build a great game, right? You want to support as many form factors as possible. If you just support one little device, unlikely you're going to get broad distribution as a Spotlight. You also want to make sure that you are using great screenshots when you upload your game. We recommend at least 4 high-quality screenshots that really showcase your games. You'd be surprised how many developers are very, very good at making a very, very fun game, are very, very bad at actually promoting their very, very fun game, and they don't upload good quality screenshots. So even if it's a good game, if it doesn't have something that looks great on the screen, it's tough to say, yes, let's push that forward and let hundreds of millions of people see this really, really bad screenshot of a really great game. And also, I would say that, again, you want to show that you're responsive to your community. If the store team sees that you address them, that you care about your customers, that you're responding back to them professionally, that's a definite thing in your favor. A couple other resources for you. The first one, and this is very time sensitive, our Build conference happened last year. It was a great way for people to come to San Francisco, learn for 3 days all about Windows 8, developing for Windows 8, how to make a great game for Windows 8. Happening again this year, happening at the end of June in San Francisco. It was sold out. Over the weekend, we opened up more seats. As of an hour ago, there are still a limited number of seats available. So if you are available to go to San Francisco at the end of June, I would highly, highly recommend it. It's a very excellent program for you. It's at buildwindows.com. Last year, everybody that went got a free touch device. I'm not saying that's going to happen this year. I'm just saying it's a high-quality program. Other resources available to you, BizSpark, I mentioned this earlier. If you are a startup who's been in business for less than 5 years, you're making less than $1 million annually, and you're focused on software, you can be in our BizSpark program. It's an international network of entrepreneurial startups, partners. There's good advice. You get access to mentors, to investors, both here in Singapore, other countries around the world, international use. You get free access to Azure server hours. You get free copies of Windows. You get free copies of Office. You get free copies of Visual Studio. You get discounts after you get out of the program. If you're a startup, I highly, highly, highly recommend BizSpark. Totally free to join. Go to bizspark.com and sign up. Finally, a couple of URLs for you. Build last year, Build Windows this year. There are last year's talks up there. Go to the GDC Vault for GDC 13 that just happened a couple of months ago in San Francisco. Lots of great content on developing for Windows 8, making great games for Windows 8. Again, BizSpark. And if you are based here in Singapore and you would like to get in touch with our Windows 8 platform evangelism team, their email alias is win8sg@microsoft.com. Met them yesterday, great group of people, really keen on getting games up on Windows 8, especially from Singapore developers. So that's it. Hopefully you all are still awake. If you have any questions, here's my email address. Feel free to shoot me an email or come up and talk to me after the talk here or during the show. Thanks again.
Actually, we do have time for a couple of questions. Is there anybody who's brave enough to raise their hand? Yeah, great.
Hello, I'm Valen from Agate Studio, game developer from Indonesia.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so I want to ask some questions. For the autoscale API, how it's gonna work? Just like it's automatically scale up or how it works?
Sorry, how does what work?
The scaling up screen.
Scaling what?
The Fruit Ninja says his game is auto scale.
Oh,
Okay.
Magic.
Okay.
Magic. Sorry,
This one and what's the most played and paid games on the Windows Store? What is the most played game and the most paid game right now?
Yeah, I can't share that kind of information with you. I would say though that if you went to the Windows Store and did one of the searches, the noteworthy search is a really good indication of popular.
Okay.
And I guess I should also say to your previous question about auto scaling resolution, there are many smarter people than me that have written articles on the websites about doing that kind of thing.
Okay. Okay. That's it. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
One question on the ref share. Does it include VAT and so on in the local countries, or so the value-added taxes basically in Europe, or the upcoming stuff in the US, or?
Yes, I believe that we do include VAT. Any other questions? All right, one final plug. 1 a.m. tonight, in about, 13 hours from now, we will be revealing the future of Xbox. So if you are interested at all about that, I personally am, go check out xbox.com after your dinner and your drinks tonight. All right, thank you very much.
Okay.